Welcome to episode 23 of VYPE Recruit Spotlight. I'm your host, Wack. Joining alongside just Jackson today. Ashton was feeling a little under the weather while recording this, so he will not be on. And he's going to be gone for a few weeks, going on vacation starting next week. We will have an interview from him next week's show. It's supposed to be this week's, but kind of have a surprise interview for this week, which we'll get to here in a minute. Before we do all that, got to bring in my man Jackson. Jackson, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. I was on a beach vacation from Saturday to Monday, flew back yesterday for the Houston citywide photo shoot, and it was a ball of fun. We're going to have a great day 2 on Thursday, heading out to Willis today. So just a great time here in Houston with football photo shoots and photo shoots going on, and busy week in recruitment as well.
Yeah, I mean it's a busy time right now with VYPE. I mean, we got the photo shoots this week. We got coaches school coming up this weekend. Summer's supposed to be the time where everyone can relax, but not here at VYPE. We're just nonstop going. Let's get to some of the recruiting news. Not a lot. It's been kind of quiet stuff's always happening, right? But when you talk about kind of big news, it's overall pretty quiet this week, I feel like, personally. We do have Austin Novosad getting that offer from Notre Dame. He is committed to Baylor, but it kind of makes you think, could there be the chance maybe he gets a commit from a school he's wanted to go to, but I'm going to stick with he's going to stick with Baylor. We'll see what happens. I mean, Baylor's kind of up and up when you really look at it. We'll see how this whole kind of realignment, when you talk about the college landscape, does that maybe affect where he goes? Is he trying to get to a school where you kind of feel like the new Pac-12 Big 12 kind of thing? Are they going to be as kind of prominent once the SEC and the Big 10 kind of take over college football? That's all left to be seen. Still about a year or so away from all that kind of and how that plays out. Also, Jaden Greathouse, by the time this show comes out, he will probably have committed or will be committing. His commitment date is set for the 15th. We're recording this, 2 days early. Where do you think he goes? I think it's kind of down to Oklahoma and Notre Dame. If you were probably to twist my arm a little bit, Jackson, where do you think he goes?
Earlier last week I had said Oklahoma. Then I had seen a lot of things that were saying Notre Dame. I think it is between those two schools. I think when you really look at it, though, he could have the chance of playing with a guy like Jaquez Petaway from Langham Creek, who's one of these top wide receivers in the state and in the country. To line up next to that guy and then have Denton Guy quarterback Jackson Arnold throw the ball to you. I think it's hard not to go to Oklahoma, but Notre Dame's putting together a great class right now. We've already seen Micah Bell from Kincaid commit to Notre Dame. One Texas kid that's committed in the past 2 weeks. So I think that you see Jaden, I believe, will be at Notre Dame, committing to Notre Dame. But don't be shocked if Oklahoma is able to kind of woo him back into the mix and get him added to this already great class Oklahoma has been putting together.
Yeah, I'll always kind of be the advocate that I think Texas kind of missed the ball on not getting him when he was in their backyard. But I mean, their wide receiver class is looking pretty good anyway, so I'm not going to complain too much. But I'm going to complain a little because I love Jaden Greathouse, and I think he would have been a big time get for the University of Texas. Turn it over to you now. I know you have a couple of recruiting notes just to kind of pass along. What you got for us this week, Jackson?
Yeah, the biggest thing this week, yesterday while we were at our photo shoot, I got the chance to go live with class of 2023 four-star outside linebacker Brad Spence from Klein Forest. Brad decided to make his commitment yesterday. His commitment was between Texas, Arkansas, and Cal. He committed to Arkansas. Great talking with him after his commitment. Really humble guy and really great fit for Arkansas as they run a 3-4. He's a guy who wants to be able to play the outside linebacker position, but then also come off the edge. That's exactly what Arkansas does with their outside linebacker. So this is a beautiful fit for Brad, and I think he'll excel there a lot. Looking forward to seeing him play at the next level at Arkansas, but also looking forward to seeing him play with this Klein Forest team next fall. So great pickup by Arkansas, as he's one of the top outside linebackers in the state.
And look at that graphic on the screen. Who made that graphic? Congratulations to Brad on the commitment to Arkansas. Picked Arkansas over Texas and Cal, so good pickup for the Razorbacks there. I guess kind of the last thing we can talk about before we move on to our interview, and it has a lot to do with our interview, is Jackson Arnold. I mean, he is our interview this week. Jackson, you were able to lock that up, and we had an interview lined up for Ashton, but we pushed that to next week because it's just like we can't pass up the chance to get an interview in from Jackson Arnold. I mean, he wins Elite 11. He's committed to Oklahoma. Came up just short of, last year against Westlake. I mean, if you would have told me going in to that championship game last year that Denton Guyer, would have done what they did in that first half against Westlake. I mean, me and Will, we were doing that live stream with it, and we were just both stunned. Of course, Westlake came back and won that game, but he's kind of on top of the world, looking to maybe try and go out on top in his high school career. What more can you say about Jackson Arnold, Jackson? Besides the fact that he has such a wonderful name, right, Jackson?
Perfect first name. But talking couple things I'll say before we jump to the interview is just he's a real humble guy. He's a kid that gets what the game's about. He's a real team-oriented guy. He's not a guy who focuses on himself. He wants his team to do well, and he's willing to do whatever it is to get there. I mean, this is a kid who got thrown into a state championship game his freshman year after A&M signee and now A&M quarterback Eli Stowers tore his ACL. So he's a guy who's played at the highest level, at the earliest level you can play in. He's a guy that obviously is very kind of underlooked, I guess, when you look around the country and you see all these other guys getting these 5-star ratings and getting kind of these higher ranked positions. But I mean, he went out and won Elite 11 against these guys. I think he is one of the top quarterbacks in the country, and I think he will definitely see a significant boost in his rankings and stuff. But great interview, and why don't we just jump to that right now?
Hey, well, let's not delay it any longer, Jackson. Like you said, let's go ahead and jump to that interview with Jackson Arnold right now.
Thanks, Josh. Well, we got a very special guest this week on the show, Denton Guyer, quarterback, one of the top Texas high school quarterbacks in the country, Elite 11 Finals MVP, OU commit, Jackson Arnold. Jackson, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good, man. Let's start it off right there. You won the Elite 11 Finals MVP. What's that mean to you to win such a prestigious camp? Not all of these guys get invited. Obviously, only 11 of y'all get invited. What was it like to win that and compete against all these top quarterbacks?
It was really awesome. It was a great experience. Going to LA. I've never been to California before, so going to LA in itself was really cool. And like you said, going to prestigious competition like that, like it's one of a kind. Like there's no other competition like that. So, going to a place like that where previous, Super Bowl winners, previous MVPs, Heisman winners, it was just really awesome, to go out and compete and actually win the MVP.
Thing for you, but it's also big, I think, for Texas high school quarterbacks, as we see all these other recruits are getting a lot of attention from out of state, but it was nice to see a guy from Texas win. Let's now go to your commitment. You committed to OU, which at the time OU was kind of still in their coaching change. What was it like for you to kind of start off committing to OU, getting to know Coach Venables, Coach Levy, and then now starting to build that class with a lot of elite talent?
Yeah, it was awesome. First meeting those coaches, and I obviously knew Levy before that at Ole Miss. That's why we grew such a great connection. Almost been talking for a year before at that point. And I was super high on Coach Levy at Ole Miss, and then he got the call from Venables to go to OU. Went to OU and had me come up and visit. I went up and met the whole coaching staff, met Coach V, talked to him in his office for like an hour. Fantastic talk, had me want to run through a brick wall after that, and I just knew that was the spot where I wanted to be. And, I jumped in really early. I think I was the second commit, or I was first under Venables, but I know I was like one of the only 3 commits I had at that time, and recruiting was kind of slow for us at first, but, I knew like when July hit and all the recruits started seeing, these coaches' true colors, how they are, how they treat the kids and everything. I knew people were going to start jumping in, and with my help and with Josh's help and everyone that's jumped in along the ride, has really helped us build a really strong recruiting class to this point.
Yeah, we're looking forward to see how the recruiting class builds. But let's now go on to last season. So we'll start off at the very beginning of your career. Eli Stowers goes down, and you get brought into the state championship game. What is that like as a freshman going into that game, and you're going up against, I believe it was Westlake, correct me if I'm wrong.
It was Westlake, yeah.
So you're going up against Klubnik, a young Klubnik, but a Cade Klubnik that was already one of the top quarterbacks in the country. What was that like for you as a freshman?
It was awful. To put it short, it was really bad. It was I was thrown into a bad situation. I'm not using that as an excuse, but it was a bad situation. I hardly had any reps in practice all week just because the coaches were giving the ones the reps, and I completely get that. The ones are going to be the guys playing, but in case somebody does go down, it kind of hurt yourself at that point. But yeah, in the game it was hard. The Westlake team was really good. Obviously, their coach, their DC, found a way to stop us early, knowing that they had a young quarterback like me and it was overall a really bad game, but I kind of took that as a great learning experience for me, especially coming into the next year, not being as nervous before games because, I've played at the highest level to this point where, I can, and just using that as a game to kind of propel my game and kind of help me grind even farther and kind of help me become the player and the person I am today. So.
Yeah, man, you get that experience then you get a little rematch against them your junior year. Y'all had a great run in the playoffs, get to play them in the state championship game. Obviously doesn't go the way y'all want to go, but, you've been in 2 state championship games now in 3 years of your high school career. Obviously, looking forward to trying to make a 4th trip or a 3rd trip for yourself and win it. What were some things you're going to take away from last season that were positives? And what are things that you've been working on in the off season and things that you're looking forward to for next season?
Yeah, the things I think off the field that I'll definitely bring in next year is the leadership role that our seniors had last year. We had guys like Mark Von Pope with the Pitt, BJ was running back with Texas A&M Commerce, people like that who were true leaders on our team, and kind of helped us be a player-led team with our coach, our strength and conditioning coach loves to call it, and you can see that is evident in Georgia last year. Actually, they were obviously a player-led team, and they won the entire thing. So I think taking the senior leadership from last year, and I was a leader last year, just not into that role as the seniors were because it was their last year and everything. They're older, more veteran players, but taking that leadership I learned from last year and applying it this year will definitely help us in the long run.
For sure, man, and we're excited to see Denton Geyer make another run, try to get that state championship ring this year. Now, as we're going to switch gears, ask a fun question, and then ask one more to wrap it up. But obviously, NIL has become such a big thing in college football now. There are lots of brands kids want to try to rep, restaurants they want to try to get a deal with. Once you get to OU, what's kind of maybe an NIL deal that you would love to have, whether it's a candy or it's a restaurant, if it's a car? What would be your dream NIL if you had a choice?
Oh, my top NIL deal for sure, other than maybe like a car or something, that'd be pretty cool. But I think my top dealership would definitely be Chipotle.
Okay,
No doubt.
yeah, that'd be a good one. You can go get yourself a burrito bowl anytime you want, man.
No.
So last question I really got for you, Jackson, and then I'll send you on your way. But you're going into your senior year. You've already left quite a legacy at Denton Geyer. But now is the last year you can leave anything. You leave your mark on the school. What are your goals for next season, number one? And number two, after next season, once you get to OU, what's kind of the message to OU fans that what they're going to get out of you?
I really have 2 goals for this year, and none of them are statistic specific. One of them is to obviously just do better than last year. And that means like touchdowns and yards and everything. I don't have a certain number that I'm reaching for, just playing better than I did last year. And secondly, most importantly, winning state. That's always been our goal. And I think we have a good shot this year. And I think this year could finally be the year that we go and win it. And for OU fans, I think I want them to expect me to compete immediately when I get in the gates and not back down from competition, not be scared.
Y'all heard it here first, man. Jackson Arnold and Denton Geyer ready to make another state run. Jackson, thank you for hopping on the show. We appreciate it a lot. Looking forward to getting to talk to you a lot more this year, and good luck to you at OU.
Sir, thank you.
Jackson, once again with the clutch interview. I mean, talk about dedication. Jackson on his way to see a movie, and Jackson Arnold's like, "Hey, man, you got time?" And Jackson's like, "Yeah, I got time." Doing the interview from the backseat of his car. I mean, talking about dedication right there. But hey, great interview as always, Jackson.
Thank you.
With that being said, let us jump to our last segment of the show. That's our Under the Radar segment, where we take a look at some of these athletes we consider are under the radar for one reason or another. Hey, there could be, a big time athlete that's just not getting the love from as many D1 schools as we think they should be, or they're just a recruit that we can see the skill on the field, and we feel like they have that potential to be getting some of these D1 offers that they're not, or even D2 sometimes, right? So they're just athletes we feel are being under the radar for who they are as an athlete. That being said, Jackson, who is your under the radar athlete for this week?
Yeah, my under the radar athlete this week is Tracy James II from Cy Ranch High School. He's a class of 2024 wide receiver. He's about 6 foot 170, has a 3.8 GPA, plays varsity football and runs varsity track at Cy Ranch. He's a guy that I got DM'd about from Fury 7-on-7. He's a kid I've been able to watch a couple times this season. Or last fall and also in the spring. He's a quick guy, can play in the slot, but also can play outside if he needs to. He's got great ball skills, great football IQ, runs the right routes, gets open. He's a guy I expect to start blowing up as Cy Ranch has started to see a lot of their guys kind of blow up late. So I expect Tracy to be one of these next guys. You can already see in the film, he's just a big playmaking guy. I expect that to translate into next season for him to have a big junior year and also just show everyone why he is one of these top wide receivers in the state. So watch out for this kid next year as he's due for a big junior year, and don't expect these offers to start holding back anytime soon. I expect them to roll in real quick.
My under the radar this week is going to be Jacob Pitzer of Conroe. Brought up his teammate a couple of weeks back, and so have you, matter of fact. But you know what? Williams can't get open without without Pitzer blocking, right? So Pitzer, he's a right tackle, comes in at 6'2", 270 pounds. Let me tell you something. One of the things what I really liked is his ability to get off the ball. Something that you will probably see while we cycle through these huddle clips here is just how quickly he can get off the ball. There's one play in particular where it looks like he basically gets to the center on a pull by the time everyone's taking their first step. You love the quickness like that. You're going to be able to set yourself up in the passing game. You're going to be able to get downfield in the blocking game with that kind of quickness when he's asked to pull. So definitely love that speed there. He's also got that skill at both run and pass. When you watch these clips, you'll see he's pretty solid in both respects. He can run block, he can pass block. You'd love to see it. He faces some decent competition as well. Obviously, playing at Conroe in the Houston, where we know football is kind of when you look at football and how good it is, it's Houston and it's kind of DFW, right? You get some Austin and San Antonio from time to time as well. Can't leave out Westlake and Lake Travis and such, but he's going to face that tough competition. So and he does well in that respect. And he competed well at the FBU camp that happened just recently as well. I think he got got some recognitions there as well. So my under the radar for this week is Jacob Pitzer. If you or someone wants to be featured on this, all you got to do is DM us, send us an email, send us a text, whatever it needs to be. Hey, if you're at the photo shoot coming up on Thursday, well, then we already have passed, so I can't really say it now because it's not a live show. But if you're ever at a photo shoot, right, and you feel like you've been under recruited, let us know. We will cover you on our show. That's how we found out about Pitzer and Jackson's under the radar, right? People let us know about these athletes. We go and look into them, and we're going to cover them for you because that's what we like to do. We like to give these athletes the spotlight they're not getting because they're under the radar, quote unquote. It's going to be our show today, Jackson. A little bit shorter show, but we have one less person, so that's going to be kind of how it is for the next 2 weeks. So as always, I like to leave the show with some shout outs. So Jackson, who are you shouting out?
Well, I'm going to shout out Matt and Josh and everyone else here in Houston. It was a great time at the VYPE football photo shoot on Tuesday. I'm sure Thursday is going to be fantastic as well. And just shout out to you, Josh. You've been killing it with some major big-time commitment edits and also just another great show, episode 23 down, and looking forward to more.
Yeah, I won't spoil who or where, but the one of the graphics that's coming out at the end of this month, it might be the one, my favorite one, the one I like the most out of all of them I've made. So hey, shameless plug. If you want some commitment graphics or offers graphics made, let us know. I make those for you guys. So hit us up and let us know. We got those graphics covered for you. I'm going to shout out the Texas High School Coaches Association conference coming up Sunday through Tuesday coming up. I'll be there. I know a couple of our other coworkers will be there. Hey, if you see us there, say hi. Let us know of an athlete that you want covered, and we'll do that. So I know I'll be there. I think Derek, one of our coworkers, will be there, and Merle, the broadcast director, will be there as well. But if you see me, give me a holler. Let's talk. So that being said, I'm Weck. That's Jackson, and we'll see you at the games.